Ừ.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. We will be starting in a few more minutes. We are waiting for more participants to join. Okay, thank you for your patience.
Speaker, sir. శ్రీనివాస్ నెంబర్ ఉందా సార్ దీంట్లో? యూజీసీ శ్రీనివాస్ గారి నెంబర్
ఆయన వచ్చారో లేదు చూస్తావా?
వచ్చేస్తారా?
అది కట్టెల్లాగి అటు వస్తే నాకు సరిపోద్దా? ఇదే కరెక్టా? ఆ లైటింగ్ ఉందా?
కెమెరా ఆన్ చేశారు సార్.
మనం మాట్లాడేది రికార్డు కూడా అవుతా మన దాంట్లో
కదా సార్?
వాళ్ళకి
మొత్తం అంతా కలిపి ఒకసారి వస్తుంది సార్. రవీంద్రకి ఏం పేరు పెట్టారు సార్?
రవీంద్ర కంప్యూటర్ అని. మంచినీళ్ళు కావాలా? ఏనా? ఏది ఛార్జరా? ఏ ఛార్జర్? నాదే?
కాదు సార్.
ఏది దీనికే?
చివరికి వచ్చింది actually.
శాంసంగేనా?
సామ్సంగ్ సార్.
అమ్మాయి
Same.
శాంసంగ్ అది ఛార్జర్ ఇవ్వ. రవి
నేను పెడతాను. మేడం బ్యాటరీ ఉంది కదా మేడం, ఆల్రెడీ ఉన్నా సార్. అది
బ్యాటరీనా?
బ్యాటరీ ఉందా సార్? సార్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ గారి నుంచి ఒకసారి సార్ రెడీగా ఉన్నారు.
ఇది కాదా?
సార్ రమేష్ సార్ లింక్ అయ్యారా సార్? మీరు లైన్ లో ఉన్నారా సార్? మీరు జూమ్ లో రెడీ అంటే స్టార్ట్ చేసేస్తాం సార్. రెడీ ఉందా సార్? ఓకే సార్.
సెక్రటరీ గారు
సార్ రెడీగా
స్టార్ట్ చేయొచ్చా?
జేఎన్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాం. జేఎన్ స్టార్ట్ చేయమన్నారు సార్.
ఎవరిని? జయమ్మ. మేడం జయమ్మ గారు, హలో. జయమ్మ అని ఉంటుంది. జయమ్మ గారు, హలో. జయమ్మ గారా?
Sir, she is not connected yet, but we are able to hear you.
She is supposed to start the program, sir.
Okay, Mr. Ravindra, do you want to take charge of it?
Ravindra?
Yes, sir.
Madam,
Yes, sir. I will.
Jayama line
I
lo
will start
leda?
the program, sir.
No, start chesi.
Yes, sir. Actually,
Okay.
she got some error. So welcome to welcome to the today national webinar on data science using Python. our principal sir address the meeting. Dr. V. Narayan, Principal, K.B.N. College, Vijayawada, will address the meeting.
Thank you, Ravindra, for your invitation. Thank you very much once again. Good afternoon, everybody. Most importantly, respected dignitaries, very particularly today's keynote speaker, our well-wisher, guide and everything, is none other than Professor G. Srinivas Garu, Joint Secretary, UGC Sero, Hyderabad, an excellent academician and an able administrator, well-wisher of all the colleges under his jurisdiction, that is in Southeast region, and in particular, caretaker and godfather of our K.B.N. College Autonomous Vijayawada. Sir, hearty welcome to this national webinar program, Sir Srinivas Garu. A very dynamic, ever vibrant, creative and ever innovative secretary and correspondent of our K.B.N. College, Sri T. Srinivas Garu, our respected fellow professors from our parent Krishna University who are collaborating this program, Professor Chandrasekhar Garu, Vice Chancellor Krishna University, Professor K. Krishna Reddy, Registrar Krishna University, Dr. D. Ramshekhar Reddy, Controller of Examinations, Krishna University, Professor Y.K. Sundara Krishna Garu, former in-charge Vice Chancellor, Krishna University, Dr. R. Kiran Kumar, Krishna University, Dr. M. Babu Reddy, Krishna University, our today national webinar convener, Dr. Bharati Devi, Head Department of MCA, and convener IQAC, our academic director, P.L. Ramesh, our vice principals, Dr. K. Naveen Kumar, E. Varaprasad, and our dear colleagues belongs to the K.B.N. College Computer Science Department, learned faculty members who have enrolled across the country, scholars, dear student friends, experts from industry and business, and friends from all walks of life in this society who have registered for this national webinar program. I extend my heartfelt greetings and heartfelt warm greetings to you all for participating in this national webinar program. Being a head of the department, head of the institution of K.B.N. College Autonomous, I myself, Dr. V. Narayan Rao, extend a hearty welcome to you all the great people who have assembled for this national webinar program being conducted by our K.B.N. College Computers Department, that is today national webinar on data science using Python in collaboration with our parent university, Krishna University, in association with RAK Analytic Solutions Private Limited, Bangalore. I thank all the experts, that is resource persons who are going to give their valuable intellect on this occasion. And then my dear participant friends, first of all, I have to say a few words about our K.B.N. College Autonomous located at Vijayawada, Andhra Pradesh. Coming to our college, Ours is the 55 years old college, having 5,600 plus students, of which more than 3,000 are girl students. And I am very proud to say that out of the UG 16 courses and PG 6 courses, we have been providing 60 to 70% placements by involving all the great software companies, banks, at least minimum 25 to 30 companies we used to invite every year. And then coming to our college, we have got NAC A grade in the third skill. In the year 2000, we got a CPE status from the UGC for 5 years, starting from 2016 to 2021. And coming to the National Institutional Ranking Framework, out of 40,000 plus colleges in entire country of India, we got 92nd rank. And then we, with the support of the UGC people, especially our Joint Secretary Srinivas Garu from Hyderabad, with his 100% support, we updated our courses. So far, we have 16 UG courses, of which this year we have started 2 new job-oriented vocational courses, Bachelor of Vocational, that is IT and IT-enabled services. And another one is Bachelor of Vocational Web Technology during this 2019-20 academic year. In the year 2018-19, we also got permission and started 2 new job-oriented courses. That is one in BSc IoT and another one in BSc Data Science. We are lucky enough to obtain, by obtaining the permission from the UGC, one course from commerce side, that is BCom Logistics. These 5 courses are unique courses. Only our K.B.N. college having these 5 unique courses in entire Andhra Pradesh. Thanks to the UGC, especially to the Joint Secretary Srinivas Garu in getting the permission for all these courses. And then coming to today national webinar on data science using Python. I congratulate and extend having excellent faculty, dedicated, excellent, efficient, talented faculty in our college. More than 40 faculty members have been rendering their tremendous services. Coming to our college, out of 5,600 student strength, more than 3,000 students are computer-based students. That credit goes to all our computer faculty members, headed by our academic director, P.L. Ramesh, and our convener, Madam Bharti, the maximum extent for the benefit of our college. Whatever the new course has come up in the present scenario belongs to the computer course. Always we are forefront in grabbing that new courses. That is the specialty of our dynamic secretary and correspondent, Sri T. Srinivas Garu. Under his able direction, every time, always he is creative, ever vibrant, innovative. Always he says, whatever new things come up, courses come up, we have to follow. We stood in the forefront by taking the help of our UGC people, our Joint Secretary Srinivas Garu. And then coming to today's inauguration, that is workshop on today webinar on data science using Python, my dear participant friends. Thereby we have an expert resource persons. We have a linkage with the RAK Analytics Solutions Private Limited, Bangalore. Those people are providing us the experts on this Python topic. We have an excellent resource persons and we are going to make available 2 persons today for 2 sessions and tomorrow also 2 persons, those who are identified as experts in entire country of India. So my dear participant friends, I welcome all of you for this 2-day national webinar on data science using Python on behalf of the K.B.N. College Autonomous Vijayawada. Thank you very much for your active participation and make best use of the great resource persons expertise and talent in relating to the subject. They are going to cover the introduction to data science, skills needed for data scientists, different job roles of the data scientists, typical responsibilities of the data scientists, everything you are going to enjoy, my dear participant friends. I once again thank you all the land colleagues and student participants and scholars and industry people who have registered your names. I congratulate once again our computer department faculty. More than 1100 participants have registered their names. I congratulate all the participants once again. Now I am very happy and I request our today's keynote speaker, our beloved, respected person, Professor G. Srinivas Garu, Joint Secretary, UGC, Sero, Hyderabad. Sir, Srinivas Garu, may I now request your keynote address, sir. Thank you very much for your presence, sir, for your valuable presence, sir, on this occasion. Thank you very much, Srinivas Garu.
Can I speak? Dr. Narendra Garu, could you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good afternoon to all of you. And in fact, I must congratulate the K.B.N. College for this important initiative of conducting a virtual seminar, which we popularly call these days webinars on data science in Python. And first of all, I would like to thank the secretary and correspondent of this important institution, K.B.N. College, Sri T. Srinivas Garu, for having invited me to participate in this important 2-day workshop taking place in your college, sir. Thank you, Srinivas Garu. And Principal Dr. Narendra Garu has gave details of the college, profile of the college for the benefit of the participants. He said that there are 1100 participants. It seems there are participants from different parts of the country in this webinar. For the general benefit of the participants, before you actually indulge in the sessions, I would like to also share a few other credentials of this prestigious institution located in the Vijayawada of Andhra Pradesh. K.B.N. College is an autonomous college. There are 800 colleges in this country, about 800 colleges, which were given autonomous status by the University Grants Commission. And this is one of those earliest colleges which was given autonomous status. And in the NIRF, National Institutional Ranking Framework, which has started in the recent years, this is also a college which ranked very high within top 100 colleges. And then UGC has a special scheme called College with Potential for Excellence, and this status is awarded to about 100 colleges throughout the country. This is the college which was given college with potential for excellence status. Another important feature of this college, what I have observed from outside, courses, several non-conventional courses also. Any non-conventional course, you name it, they have been implementing it successfully. And these days, many colleges are facing shortage of students. Shortage of faculty is also there everywhere across the country. Shortage of students is also there in many institutions, and many institutions are becoming unviable also because of this problem. But K.B.N College has, as Dr. Narendra Garu has just said, has participants more than 5,000, sorry, about 6,000 students are studying in different disciplines in this college. A good number of students are pursuing in skill-oriented courses as well. And today's initiative of this today webinar taken up by the Department of Computer Science. I know few people, Dr. Bharati Devi Garu, Dr. Ramesh Garu, and Vice Principal Dr. Prasad Garu, and several other faculty members. I must congratulate all of you for this significant initiative on your part, particularly in these COVID times. How to spend time, how to update yourself is also a challenge. So this webinar is useful in those lines. So this college today is conducting this webinar in association with the Krishna University, Machilipatnam. Thanks to the Vice Chancellor, Registrar, and other officials, Controller of Examinations who are taking active part in this activity. And also in association with RAC Analytics from Bangalore. I think when different organizations also take part in these seminars. From UGC side, we always have encouraged academic institutions to collaborate with other institutions of industry, institute, academic bodies, and other areas also, so that they can also bring an element of practicality into the proceedings of the seminar. So all these academic institutions, Krishna University and RAC Analytics, the actual core entrepreneurs using data analytics are also here in this webinar to enrich the proceedings of this webinar. You are already know about how data science has emerged in the recent years. This emerged as one of the interdisciplinary discipline. Normally in the knowledge cycle, after a few years, new academic disciplines emerge from the existing disciplines, like business administration, MBA has come out from commerce, biotechnology came out from biological sciences with a little integration of technology. Likewise, from time to time, with the emergence of new disciplines is based on the existing disciplines. These days, data sciences, data analytics has also emerged as one of the interdisciplinary sciences. It is an application-oriented professional course, and it is also high on the employment prospects for the students. Therefore, this course is in good demand. K.B.N College has a good course on this subject as well. And this interdisciplinary sciences, data sciences, is highly used for various purposes. You all know, as a people in this data sciences, data is everywhere available these days. Even in case of higher education, I hear many complaints from the colleges and universities. Sir, many organizations are asking data every day. If UGC is asking some data, the AICT asking the same data vertically. Different university is giving some data, asking some data, state government is asking some other data. So there is a lot of data pressure on the institutions as well. The IQACs are already burdened with data management as well. Similarly, in every walk of life, the data has assumed a lot of importance. When you take the personal lives of the people, there are also complaints about regard to Aadhaar data, with regard to data of cell phone numbers. A lot of issues are there. So what I want to emphasize here is that data has assumed important proportions. Even though data is available in abundance, but how to manage this data is the real issue. So data management through programming tools like Python is very useful, so that we would able to arrive at meaningful interpretations, meaningful inferences, and so that we could be able to take appropriate decisions at market level. Lot of market decisions of a product are based today on the data interpretations that comes through data sciences, usage of data sciences. Even in case of elections, this data usage is being used by the political parties also. So almost in every walk of human life today, this data sciences, data analytics has encroached into. And this behind this data sciences, this actual programming language widely used today is the Python. Python, as you know, is one of the well-known programming language, object-oriented programming language. Python interpreters are widely used in the data sciences or by the data analytics today. And this workshop, I indeed believe, will be useful to the youngsters who are going to make a career in the data sciences as a data scientist or analytics, whatever you want to call. And this kind of seminars are, now we call them webinars by virtue of their virtual nature, are very useful to you. I must congratulate you for taking part in this today national webinar at K.B.N. College. And I also happy to note that this webinar is being offered by the K.B.N. College free of cost. Thank you to the management of K.B.N. College, particularly to T. Srinivas Garu, the secretary and correspondent of college management, for seeing some webinars being conducted these days. They are charging some registration fee and some fancy issues are also there. But this seminar and 2-day activity webinar is going to be, I believe, indeed useful to the data scientists or the young students who want to make a career in data sciences or who are inquisitive about what data science is at all, how use this Python programming language into data sciences. This is a program being conducted by the K.B.N. College, sponsored by the UGC, because it is an autonomous college. As a part of autonomy and autonomous activities, this seminar is being sponsored by the UGC. So I again congratulate the college on behalf of UGC for holding a UGC-sponsored workshop on this frontline area of knowledge, emerging area of knowledge these days. And I convey my best wishes to all the participants as well as the organizers, the faculty, the principal, and more particularly the management, Srinivas Garu, T. Srinivas Garu. And also, I wish to appreciate all the resource persons for giving their time and taking part in this workshop to enrich the proceedings of this workshop. Once again, I thank all of you, and best wishes on behalf of UGC to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, madam.
You have been explained the theme of these 2 days webinar very well, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I also thank the principal of K.B.N. College, Dr. V. Narayana Rao Garu, for participating and making us very enthusiastic about the workshop. May I now request the moderator of today's session to take over the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. So, should I take a leave, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Now, may I request the moderator of today's session to take over the session, please.
Madam, thank you very much. Mr. Krishnan, you are on there.
Okay, good afternoon. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, you are audible.
Oh, great. Okay, fantastic. It's been a great afternoon here in Bangalore. It's kind of cloudy and the temperature is pretty around 96°F and wonderful afternoon actually here compared to so many different places where we have really hot winds coming around. Anyway, we are going to effectively utilize our time here. And before that, I just wanted to, I've been hearing your speeches and I want to congratulate the college for being in the top 100 and also 70% placement rate. Excellent. Congratulations to the principal, department, computer science, and all the departments and the management. Great job. Keep it up. Okay. Basically, I would like to what I call jump into it right away. We will be doing the data science with Python with the introduction. It's a big task of condensing some of the things that we will be doing it. We'll do the best we can to condense it within this allocated time. All right. So right now, my name is Krishnan. In fact, I'm a product of PhD Tech Coimbatore, and I did my BE and MBA there and migrated to US in early 80s actually. I've been there in US for the past 35 years. I've been heading several MNCs in US and been in software development for a long time, for several decades actually. Okay, training is one of the things that we used to do, and we do training not only in India but also do the global training, primarily in the Los Angeles, Silicon Valley area, where you have a lot of participants down there. We have participants from all top academic institutions in the world. So they asked me whether I could do it, and me and Mr. Kannan, we agreed to do that right now. And he's one of the architects of this particular program and is a whiz in the analytics section. All right, so right now, our company is based in Bangalore and also in Los Angeles. Okay, having said that, okay, we are what I call, I believe that you're all able to see my screen. Am I correct? Are you able to see my screen right now?
No, sir, it's not visible. Can you? Yeah, it's rendering now.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So you're all able to see the screen right now. That's great. Okay. Okay, so this is what we have, and this is my short, I would say, bio on myself, and what are the things that we're going to be having in the agenda. We'll be having a brief intro on data science. We'll be talking about the skills needed for a data scientist, different job roles of a data scientist, what are the typical responsibilities, what are some of the real life applications that you're going to be working with, and why teachers need to learn data science. And we have several other things also. And basically we'll be looking at the machine learning introduction basically. In that we'll be talking about a classification, regression analysis, clustering, distance measures, recommendation systems. And if you have time, which I doubt it very much, we'll be touching upon deep learning, NLP, and chatbots. So that is what we have in the agenda, and hopefully, we will be able to cover as much as possible. If you have any questions, any problems, please do raise your hand, or whatever the procedure that has been laid out to you. You can communicate to us.
Sir, excuse me. Excuse me one second. Sir, can you go to your control panel on the top? You will see annotation option. You can disable annotation for the participants.
Okay, on the top. Yeah.
And yeah, disable annotation and also clear it once. If you click on annotation, you will see a recycle bin. You can clear it.
Clear all the drawings, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You haven't disabled annotations.
I'm sorry. Here.
It will be in the more option. If you go to the more option, and there's a drop down, you will see disable.
I'm okay. I'm trying to read it. I'm sorry. All right. Okay. All right. Let's look at it. Basically, I don't say it anywhere. That is that going to be a continuous thing with this scribbling?
No, you just need to disable once so that nobody will be able to do it.
Okay. I don't see the more options. Basically, that's the problem here. And to
1 second, let me just share it.
Yep. All right. Sorry for the brief problems that we're having, but
Mr. Krishnan, it will be on the control panel on the top right screen. You will see a more button. To the all the way to the right, there will be more. 3 buttons will be there. So if you hover your mouse on the more, you will see allow participants to annotate. You have to just disable it.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Let me check. So this is you're able to see my screen. Am I correct right now?
Yeah, I'll stop screen. Now you can start screen.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen here. Here we go. Okay, there is a more option here. Oh, correct. Okay, now we are looking at disable participants annotation. Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
All right, got it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Apologize for the brief things, and hopefully we can really proceed without, the small hiccups. Anyway, all right. So that's what we have in the agenda, and let's move on right now. Okay, here, how the first thing that we are going to be looking at, of course, before I start off with anything, did everybody have a chance, or anybody have a chance to go to Times of India newspaper 3 days ago? They were talking about one of the recession-proof job. And basically, they have listed data science as the only thing that they have referred to is the data science. And remarkable data science, data analytics, business analytics, that's what they were talking about. If you have a chance, go to the web and look for Google Times of India recession-proof job, you will come across it. That's a great thing, basically, and this is everywhere in the world. In the US, for example, everything they talk about is data science, data analytics, machine learning, deep learning. That's what they talk about. They don't talk about the regular engineering services, regular softwares. No, they talk about this one. And it is becoming, before this COVID thing happened, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of jobs available in the data science area. And unfortunately, the COVID thing came up, but this is all going to go down, and that's what everybody expects. And once this goes away, we'll be back to normal, and the job prospects will be going up. All right. Another good news for India, even though it's kind of a little bit hard for people to digest, is a lot of US job companies, they have been what they call paying a lot of people, and especially they've been deeply involved in so many different projects. And these projects, they are very much into it. So right now they could not afford to pay the salary to the what they call the employees. So they did have to lay off a bunch of people. And these jobs are definitely coming to India, because in India, they have tried China, they've tried Philippines, they've tried other companies. In fact, I've been myself being outsourcing so many different jobs to different countries. Right now, they'll come back to India. In India, they think it's a basic, we have the intelligence, we have the manpower, we have everything basically in India, and the communication ability also. So that is going to be a great boon for all of us. All right, so now the thing is, how data scientists really help the business. A simple example which I would like to give you, basically, you are spending thousands and thousands of rupees right now in marketing your particular product, whatever the product that you're going to be having right now. And these products, basically, they cost you a lot of money for doing the marketing. And people, for example, if you have 10 lakhs budget to do the marketing, you could do the 10 lakhs, basically pay 2 TV ads for 5 lakhs, and you can blow out the entire money. Is that the effective way? And right now, I could see that if you see an ad in the IPL or the wonderful show that you're watching, whenever the ad comes in there, the tendency of the people is basically to move to the next channel and see what's going on. And if 1,000 people are watching the particular show, I'm pretty much sure that 900 people will not be watching that particular ad. They will move on to a different one. And out of the 100, when I try to get a brand recall from those people, they hardly would say 10 people say, oh, there's some ad that was there. And probably they would say 5 or 6 people would be coming back to you and say, hey, I didn't know this is the ad that was going on TV. Is that the good way? Is that the effective way of marketing? Absolutely not. So there are so many other different ways. We have the hoardings, we have the billboards, we have the direct mailing, we have the digital marketing, so on and so forth. We need to find out what is the effective way of performing the marketing and getting the best value for the buck. That's what everybody is shooting for. And if you go to a management and in a company and then you say, I'm employing currently 100 people, but I could do the same job with 60 people. The management is going to look at you. Yes, oh my God, it's going to improve the bottom line. Absolutely, they're going to go for that. Okay, so that is basically the thing that is going on in the industry. Whether it is, you take any industry, there are 5 different components basically. One is the marketing. We need to do effective marketing, otherwise you will not be able to put the product in. And 2, the finance. What kind of credit you want to give to the customer? Whether is he credit worthy? What is the money that I have right now? Am I able to pay the salary for the people? All those kinds of things that come into that picture basically. Am I able to pay the bills? Come into finance. Now with the HR, basically, am I hiring the right person right now? What kind of training do I need to do? How do I capitalize on the current group of employees and do the work which I'm supposed to be doing right now? All those kinds of things comes in the HR. Then you have the very big thing that comes into the picture, supply chain management. That's another area. It's a huge amount of what I call requirement. Basically, you want to optimize your supply. Nowadays, the current tendency is basically for all the big companies not to have a huge warehouse. If you have a huge warehouse, you're going to be having a huge inventory. The inventory carrying cost is going to be very high. Am I going to what I call, but also they need the goods on time. It's called on-time delivery. That is one of the key things world over. That's what is happening in Walmart. If I go in US, basically they used to have huge warehouses, a size several times the size of football fields. Walking from, you have to go in a car to basically go from one end to another end. That's how what I call long they were. Right now they're reducing the sizes. We will come into that, how they are able to do that basically, but they all believe in availability of that particular product on time. Okay. The second thing is basically steer the business in the right direction. Am I utilizing my employees? Am I using all the machines in the company? If I get a big order, basically, am I going to jump on that particular order? Do I have enough manpower? Do I have enough machinery? The 3 main things that come into any business, basically, right now, if you get a big order, either 3 things. 1, stay with the same companies or orders that you're working with. Do not move anywhere else. Okay, that is one thing. The second thing is expand your business, move to a new location, get a brand new machinery, and do your take care of the particular order. Or the third one, stay in the current location and expand just the what they call the machinery and hire more people. Can you do the job? And this is the very three things any business needs to contemplate with, and it's not an easy solution. You have to do all kinds of analytics into it. You have to check to see what is the current level of economy. What is what they call the market sustainable? What is the product life cycle? What is the stage of this particular product? Is it in the growth stage or is it in the declining stage? All kinds of things need to come into the picture before the management can make a quick decision on basically, yes, I can take the order to, even if I take the order, would I be able to meet that particular requirements of that order? Yes. So that's another thing. Steer the business in the right direction. The next thing is, am I having more employees than the job? Are the employees being effectively utilized? The machines are being effectively utilized. That's another thing. Is my marketing efforts good enough? So one of the common things we do a lot of consulting to MSMEs. And one of the key things that we hear from the CEO of the company is they basically come back to you and call you and says, can you come to our office? I said, okay, what is the problem? I said, we have been having a 40% decline in sales. It's a very common thing that comes into the picture. 40% decline in sales. Then immediately your thing is basically, oh, 40% decline. So you would like to ask them, what do you think the problem is? Immediately they come back to you and say, okay, the marketing guys are really bad. That's what they say. That's what the immediate comment from the CEO of the company without going into anything else. But you want to ask them, hey, look, okay, you don't disagree with them. One of the key things that you need to do, you should not disagree with the top guys so that their ego kind of what they call is being rattled. You shouldn't do that. It's called ruffling the feathers, which you should not do. He said, okay, fine, get us the data. When the data comes in there, you'll be asking, okay, they will give only the sales statistics. Absolutely, sales statistics are pretty bad. We know that, basically. Then you would like to see what is the performance of each one of the salespersons in there. There is a decline in that one. Then you say, why? You go and talk to them, find out what's going on. They would come back to you and say, basically, the sales decline is not due to our marketing efforts. We are still doing pretty good compared to the industry standards. But one of the problems that we were facing is a lot of goods have been rejected. That's a good word that you're going to be, that is what you're looking at right now. So if you say rejected, what is the reason for the rejection? Where do you go next? You go to the manufacturing department, check to see what has happened. We see in one particular week, we have all the goods that were produced during that particular week, they were all rejected. Then you go down further. Probably you could trace it to one particular CNC machine, which were producing the goods, which were way above the tolerance level. Now we have nailed it down. Not only that, we have analyzed it, we got the data. Now, after that one, you're going to be looking at, now you found out this particular machine, has not been overhauled for the past 3 years, whereas the mandate calls for overhauling every 3 months, or what's called the preventative maintenance. So analytics once again come into the picture, where how do you do the preventative maintenance so that not only the machine doesn't break down, but you're saving the company from a total disaster. See how we got up? Then you're going to say, this is the recommendation that you need to do with this kind of recommendation, with this kind of preventative maintenance, with the sales effort that you're having right now, you could reach a target of 20% over what you're currently selling. And in 3 years, you could exceed your, what they call the drop in sales, and bring back to normal and go up by 10%. That is what prediction is all about. That is what your predictive analytics is all about. Okay, and that's what company asks you to do. Otherwise, the company in this particular case, I just gave you an example, you would have laid off all the good marketing guys. It's not their fault. So we are want to steer the business in the right direction, okay? And leverage trends and forecasting to help businesses, basically. We want to absolutely leverage the trends. What is a trend in the industry? Okay, and are you looking for basically selling vacuum tube TVs where the product has pretty much died down? You're trying to sell plasma TVs or trying to sell LED TVs with the 4K. What is the current trend? What is it that you're going to be doing? And how do you effectively utilize the trend? Trend is our friend, actually. I'm telling you right now, whether it is a stock market or everything, right now, previously, I don't know how many people have been trading. People used to talk about fundamental analysis, all the PE ratios, so on and so forth. They're all gone. Everybody, I mean, I'm not saying completely gone, but they are still using the fundamental analysis, but majority of them, they're looking into what is called the trend trading. Trend trading, that's one of my pet peeve. In fact, we've been advising so many different brokers, not only regular brokers, institutional brokers also have been doing it. And that's our passion, basically, to predict what is going to happen to a particular stock and how you're going to be able to capitalize on the momentum, so on and so forth. How do you want to do that trends? Trends, so many different things happen. Any kind of news that's going to happen, any kind of quarterly reports that's going to affect your stock, type of thing. So that is basically another thing that you're going to do. And if I talk about stock, I will take the entire 60 days for me to talk about stocks. Okay, anyway, I'll just move on. And then, so that's, you got to understand how trend plays a significant role in our prediction process. Okay, identify prospects and potential opportunities. Right, that is another thing that you're going to be looking at. So you are trying to market a particular product. Who are going to be your prospects? And two things that you need to remember. Whenever you're able to sell a particular product to a particular group, you have to know why you're able to sell it. And if you're not able to sell a particular product to another group, you need to know why not. You can sell it. If you need to have answers for both of them, basically, that is what takes you more. The good companies, what they do in the US is basically, they don't sit on laurels. If your sales today is, I mean, for this current year is X number of units, they would automatically think the next year is going to be 1.1x or 1.15x. That is how they project themselves. Then they can come back and do the budgeting and so on and so forth. The same thing happens basically. That's basically all matured companies. But all the new startups, they're looking for, okay, I need to have see a 25% growth or 40% growth, so on and so forth. But need to what I call look into it and then identify what are the areas that they need to focus in, who are going to be my potential customers, what are the different opportunities available to you, so on and so forth. So that is one of the big things analytics will help you out in the field, okay. From time to time, raise the bar and enforce the best practices. As I said before, you cannot sit on laurels. You got great, what I call, professors, great teachers, great academicians, wonderful students. But I have to tell you, yes, we are learning every day. I'm learning every day, and you cannot sit on our laurels. And that should be the thing. You always need to look for improvement. It's called the continuous improvement process that we all need to do on a consistent basis. Okay, so we need to raise the bar. If you're able to achieve this one within, say, for example, running race, if you're able to do that, 100-meter dash X amount of time, can I do it at 90% of the time? Then it's 80%, 70%, so on and so forth. We need to increase it and be the best in the industry. One of the things, just want to give you one particular tip. Basically, they always tell you if you're trading stock, they say 90% of the people who are doing intraday trading, they lose money and only 10% make the money. I always tell them, they all come to me and say, I'm scared. Then I tell them, why can't you be in the 10%? What prevents you in doing that? That's one thing, just want to give it to you. Anyway, okay, next, provide data-driven business strategies. Previously, in fact, I used to know of, I mean, I'm not going to mention the names of one of the universities which was done in Bangalore. The person never, the CEO, the chairman, never relied on any data. All he did was his own intuitions and his own way of doing things. He's a genius. I mean, actually, I'm telling you, he's a genius. But he could have done it a little bit more efficiently when he has been provided with the data. Provided huge complexes, built huge complexes, and a lot of them were underutilized. He had a good vision that he had. But unfortunately, what has happened, things did not materialize to the extent, even though the colleges, the university is doing reasonably good, but it could have been a lot better if what they call, if he had taken enough care, looked into the data and relied on it and used his intuition along with the data. Now everything is data driven. Using prescriptive analytics, guiding the business. Absolutely, that's what we want. We want to achieve a growth, 25% in the next 3 years. What are the things that I need to do? Basically, you have all the data for the past 10 years, all the sales. What should I do? What is going to be the new competition that I'm going to be facing right now? What is the stage of the particular product? Is it in the maturity stage or the growth stage or the declining stage? How am I going to do it? Perfect example right now. Restaurants and hospitality, I mean, all the hotels, motels during the COVID time. I mean, right now, pretty much a lot of these people are basically, I mean, they put their towel on their head saying that, what should I do now? I got a huge EMI to pay. I can't open my hotel for the regular customers. I can do some of those, what they call, then you need to find how to improvise it. What do I need to do? Do I start what they call delivering goods, delivering the foodstuffs? If so, what kind of advertisement do I need to do? And all kinds of things that you need to be looking at. So a lot of things, there is what is called the paradigm shift. And one thing I'm telling you, everybody needs to accept the change. Change is the only permanent thing. There is no such thing as I've done this, I'm going to rest on the laurels. No way. You got to be adaptable to change. Now we need to look and see how the hotel industry is going to survive. Okay, how the complete industry, basically airline industries. So many airline companies are going to be going belly up. They're going to declare bankruptcies. How are they going to survive in this particular world? So you need to go look into that one. This is previously, prior to the COVID, there was a 3.3% unemployment in US. 3.3%. Now the unemployment is, the latest statistics I have right now, we got about 32 million people have applied for unemployment. 32 million. During the Great Depression, we had 25% unemployment. Now it is going to exceed the 25%. It could reach even to 29%. That is the statistics we have right now. Huge, they're very sad statistics. But now we have to check to see how we can overcome this huge problem that we all are having. Starting as a simple epidemic in one particular location, how it has moved on and destroyed the lives of millions of people, destroyed their wealth. So many, it's basically, you know, right now the COVID thing, has got a big domino effect, huge domino effect. What has done is basically people have lost their jobs. Because of losing their jobs, they're not able to pay the rent. The landlords are going into foreclosure. The banks are going into what they call really hard pressed to serve those people. A lot of properties have been foreclosed. What are they going to do? The economy is going to be in very bad shape. But with all this data, whatever is available, how they survived during the Great Depression, how they survived during the 2008 big thing, the recession that we had, how we are going to overcome it. That is a challenge, not only for US, it's a challenge for India also right now. It's a big challenge for all the countries too, I would say that. Okay, now, prescriptive analytics. You have designed, we have targeted a particular thing. What are the things that needs to be done to achieve that particular goal? You need to look into that one. Continuously monitor, test, and refine the empirical processes. In control systems, we have the closed loop control system, which everybody out of engineering students are familiar with. You take a portion of the output feedback, go to the input, and then see what kind of corrective actions do I need to take, if I need to take anything. So that is what you need to do. Always look into the closed loop rather than the open loop system. Recommend customers, prospects, write advertisements, and much more. Absolutely, that is pretty self-explanatory right there. What are the daily problems that we are solving? The first problem is basically fraud analytics and prevention. You are what they call using your credit cards. Majority of you guys are using your credit cards. And if you're using your credit card, all of a sudden you make a what you call, normally you're spending around 500 to 600 rupees a day. All of a sudden you come up with a 20,000 rupee what they call charge on your credit card. Within 2 seconds after you finish your transaction, there'll be a call from the credit card company, or they'll send you a message. Did you make this particular charge? How did they do that? It's basically pattern detection. Millions of credit cards are there. They have basically created a profile of you. They would say this person averagely makes around 500 to 600 rupees. Some people 1,000 rupees, some people 100 rupees, some people 200 rupees. What profile are you in? All of a sudden they find an anomaly in the particular charge, like 30,000 rupees. Immediately going to call you and say, hey, look, this person, we need to absolutely verify to make sure this person did make the charge. Similarly, if you're making anything on your profile, on your credit, on your banking, you go to your online and you change in the profile, it immediately comes back and say, give me your OTP, just to make sure that you are the ones who have done it. It also wants to absolutely make sure that particular transaction has been done by you, or that particular profile has been changed by you and not by anybody else. So fraud has become a huge thing. With the onset of the internet banking, mobile banking, one of the key things that that has come to my mind, and I want to warn everybody basically, if you're talking on the phone and somebody asks you, hey, can you hold on just for 10 seconds, and the line goes off basically for even 1 minute, you got to be extremely wary. There are programs that could take complete control of your mobile and what they call take all the stuff from your mobile too. Be careful. That's one thing. It's fraud everywhere basically. How do you prevent those kinds of frauds? In the bank, I don't have to talk to you about basically the Nirav Modi case, the Chokshi case, how this could have been prevented. How do you prevent those kinds of frauds happening? And previously, when you go approach a bank for any kind of loan, they used to overlook all things. Because I know you, I will grant you the loan. The personal thing is no longer there. They look into hundreds of different things before they sanction the loan. Okay, we will look into it when you go into the machine learning thing. Basically, there's something called the decision tree that you'll be looking at it, whether that person qualifies for a particular loan. Just give you a quick briefing. When a person applies for the loan, as first thing they look at, this person has a job. What is his credit score? And basically, has he defaulted any of the payments? Then how long has he been in the job? What kind of job is he working on? Is it a permanent job? Is it the new technology that he's working on? Okay, what is the prospects of what I call, I mean, does he have, if he doesn't have enough credit score, does he have a co-signer? Then look into, take the profile and match it with other people who've been lent money. Check to see if these people have paid back their money. Are they paying the EMIs on time? And that kind of thing. And then say, finally come up with a decision saying that this person, yes, he could be granted loan. No, he's worthless. I cannot give the loan. That's another thing that's looking at. The next one is the recommendation engines. Recommendation engines, you all know, when you look into Google, basically, you'll be looking for the best, what they call, beauty cream on the planet. And you could search on that. Then you look into what you call the different people offering that particular cream, which is offering you the best prices, so on and so forth. Then you close your computer, and next time when you come back, it will come up, oh, we have a sale on Amazon for this much. Your Flipkart is offering you for this much. Not only that one, they give you the light products. You want the beauty cream, I'll give you the powder. I'll give you all the other things along with it, the brushes, basically the nail polish. They think that you are into you're into the industry of beautifying yourself or the customers. So you look into that. So all those kinds of things. If you try to buy a computer, and not only it gives you that particular computer, they offer you different types brands offered by different companies. They also look into additional things like the baggages, the power supplies, all kinds of other stuff that goes with that, basically the modem, so on and so forth, the external modem or whatever you want to call it. And so they give you that kind of thing. So that is basically recommendation engines. Customer segmentation. What kind of customers you target? You're looking for what I call selling your insurance. Whom should I contact? Say, for example, I'm trying to sell my life insurance. Whom should I contact? Who are the people who I'm going to be selling the life insurance? If you go to a 20 to 25-year-old person and then say, hey, do you want to take a term life insurance where you pay a monthly premium and, you know, after you end your premium, basically you're no longer there. He said, why should I take, I'm pretty young, I'm 20 to 25, I'm enjoying my life, why should I take my insurance? But if I'm going to be looking into what I call a group of people who are in the 40 to 50 range or 50 to 60 range, and go and approach them and they say, okay, look, would you like to have a life insurance? Yeah, well, I had something before, but I want to augment it. That's a good group of people that you've been looking at. Then not only that one, you have to look and see what kind of plans they would qualify for. What is their income level? And sometimes it's very tricky to ask them the income level. In fact, in the US, you cannot ask for income level unless you're applying for some kind of loan or something. So they circumvent it by asking you, hey, look, what is your profession? Then they take the average of that particular pay of that particular profession and then come back to you. Okay, this guy has been earning around $200,000 a year. So he could really qualify for this type of premium. He should be able to afford it. So I'm going to target that kind of group. So basically that's one of the things that you'll be looking at. The next one is basically the churn analytics. You're talking about telecom all the time. Why should you switch from Airtel to Vodafone to BSNL, so on and so forth? Same thing happens in the US. When you have the AT&Ts, then the Sprint, we have so many other companies that are coming in. People move from one to another, basically exchanging their shirts because some of the times they complain about call drops, which has become a big issue. Some of the times they complain about what they call overcharging. What are the specials that are being offered by different telephone companies, you know? So that is another big thing that happens. The churn analytics is a very important concept and a very important thing in the analytics. Okay, any company is looking how to retain their customers, moving from one group to one company to another company to another company. It could apply for anything, any product that you sell. Why they are moving from your product to another company's product, and how do you prevent it from what do you call, from losing that particular customer. Next, price optimization. Quick example I want to give you. You are in a retail store. You are selling, for example, you're selling the mangoes. And you bought the mangoes, basically your price arriving at the store is 50 rupees. You want to make a 10% profit. 10, listen to me carefully, you want to make a 10% profit. My question to you is, would you sell that particular mango for 55 rupees and be happy that, oh, I sold it for 10% increase? If anybody answered it, I say it's not correct. The reason I'm saying, what kind of goods are mangoes? They're all perishable goods. They don't have a long shelf life. When they get into the shelf, they are green, and the price is pretty high in that time. When it comes, what they call further more days on the shelves, you get yellow and yellow and yellow. And also not only the yellowish color comes in there, you get the brown spots. And afterwards, the mangoes decays and you cannot use them for anything else. So initially, the price is going to be like 75 rupees or 80 rupees. Then gradually, as the days go by, they reduce the price of that particular mango. And then finally, when it reaches a stage where it cannot be kept on the shelf, they still make money by sending it to crushers for the juices. And finally come up with a 10% margin. They need to, this is analytics, guys. This is retail analytics. It's a huge demand for those. Huge demand for those. Gone are those days, more people just say, okay, 10% I'll do that, 20% I'll do that. Now all the big stores that you're going right now, they employ this kind of analytics.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
So we are going to have a break now. Okay.
Oh, is that right?
So
okay.
yeah. So it's okay if we stop here.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So when
there is going to be half an hour break.
Okay.
But before you go to the break, please complete a 1 minute poll and then you can go to the break. We will resume the session at 4 o'clock.
All right. Okay. Thank you then. Okay. Bye-bye.
So this poll is just to assess the speed of the trainer's session, nothing else.
Hello.
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 Welcome back to the session 2 on two-day national webinar on data science using Python. So in the first session, we have learned about introduction to the data science and skills needed for a data scientist and different job roles and where machine learning is used for solving daily problems. Now I hand over the mic to the resource person for continuing the session. Thank you.
Hello. Are you able to hear me? All right. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes. Clear.
Okay, great. Okay, so right now we are going to welcome back and we are going to continue with our session. I'll do the best I can. Since there's a lot of things that that could be covered in that session, I'll try to do the best we can to accommodate a bunch of things. Okay, I know that sometimes we would try to do a lot of things, but we'll do the best. That's what I can promise you on that. All right. Okay. Let's get back to this one. We talked about churn analytics before. Right
Sir,
now,
can you share your screen, please?
yeah, I will. One second. One second. All right. No, I disabled it. Now you're okay. Now you're able to see me that? No problems?
Yeah, you can press F5 for the presentation mode.
All right.
Great.
Okay, good. So we have looked into several different things where analytics being used, and the other thing is basically price optimization. That is one of the things that we talked about. Basically, how do you do that in the retail or wholesale or anything? You have a set target, and how do you go about using the analytics to fix a price on a particular object? Also, one of the other things that what do you call that you do when you're talking about a retail store. Now analytics is playing a significant role into it. Say for example, you are trying to promote a particular product. That product, say for example, you are saying, hey, there is a 50% off on Bear's coffee. Okay, and that particular ad, whenever a person walks into that particular store, it's got to be visible, and they have to say, oh, we have a 50%, and that is being advertised, and also inside the store at the prominent place, they got to make sure that that ad is visible. And so they have to place that particular product in such a way, so while people are walking toward that particular aisle and trying to grab that particular product, there will be other things available to them. Whenever a person walks into the store, he's not just going to take a coffee powder and walk away. You'll be looking at bread. You will be looking at so many other things that are available to you. Okay, so how do you, what I call, arrange the positioning or make the positioning of that particular product in a retail store so that you could get the maximum benefit from this particular discount? A person who is buying a coffee for 100 rupees or 200 rupees doesn't get out without paying 1,000 rupees for buying a bunch of other items. And then also they need to make sure, how do you price the other items in the store so that they are getting completely benefited from the huge discount they're giving in for the coffee. So that's another thing. So price optimization is another thing. Risk analytics, basically everybody in banking, financial institution, they talk about risk analytics. What is a possibility of this particular person, or this entity defaulting on the loan? Okay, if I give what I call X amount of money for this particular builder, what is the probability of him finishing that particular project? Has he completed every project on time? What is the default rate? What are the things that came into that picture in the past? Okay, what is his history? And what are the other people doing in the industry? So on and so forth. That is what is called risk analytics. And if I lend X amount of money, I should be in a position to get that money back. Okay, or if you're starting a new venture, You're going to raise capital for that. What is the, what do you call, the amount of risk involved in funding for the new venture? That is basically risk analytics comes into the picture. Terrorism prediction. That's a very, very hot topic. Very hot topic. Now, you walk, okay, have you seen people basically walking on the street, okay, and I mean, right now we have seen it. I don't know how many people have faced this one. I've been to some of the hot areas where they would not stop everybody on the planet. They will stop a few individuals and ask them questions. They may not be suspects, but they look for certain profiles. These profiles have certain characteristics. This person walking differently, his behavior is different. Say, for example, the same thing that you use in the airports. In fact, I was part of a big team in Bangalore International Airport trying to find out who is basically carrying, because there is a declaration at the customs for international passengers to give a declaration. Okay, so the declaration basically says if you do not have anything to declare, you can walk away from the airport for free, absolutely no problems. Okay, now in this particular cases, the camera is watching the people. They don't stop everybody. Some of the people declare that it's a green channel for them to walk through, and they stop particular group of people. Why? They think they are what they call, they fit into the profile. Their behavior is different. Every movement that you make is being recorded. Now analytics come into the picture. If they are very perturbed or they are sweating or what they call, they look kind of, I mean, walking differently type of thing. They look into all those things. They're nervous about something. They catch those people. They're looking to see if this particular is carrying any particular drugs. Okay, they're carrying something, unwarranted things, all those kinds of things that they look into. Okay, and sometimes even concealed weapons are being, they're supposed to be cut. That's what when you enter the airport, they're looking at all those kinds of profiles, basically seeing who is doing what, all those kinds of things. And you got to walk into an area where a lot of crimes are happening. They will stop particular group of people checking to see what they are doing, and if their answers are not coherent, they cannot be verified, they will haul you. So that's another thing. Forecasting, of course, nobody needs to give more explanation to forecasting. We have forecasting. We need to forecast the what I call marketing of a particular product. What is going to be the market for my product? What is going to be the sales? What is going to be the total revenue? What is going to be my profit? All those things comes under that. So we have analytics for that one too. Disease epidemic prevention. I mean, you guys have seen more than anybody else on the planet. This is a perfect thing right now. COVID. Everybody is talking about it. How do you prevent it? There are so many different theories that are floating around. So many different theories are floating around. They are using analytics for that. And still, with all the technology that is available to us, we can only predict so much. But there is another superpower behind it right now. So this is right now basically how do we prevent this kind of COVID? Right now they are saying one of the key things they say it comes from the droplets from your mouth. So they're using the what they call the masks. Then they're saying if you touch some object, when a person touches it, he has got that particular disease, especially plastic items, it could be transmitted. Now they're going to see what is the longevity of that particular virus in that particular product, so on and so forth. So many different things. Then they look and see what kind of preventative steps that they could take to prevent that particular infection from spreading. Pretty much very, very useful. Stock prediction, one of my favorite things. I've been in the stock market for a long time. People used to say, as I said earlier, 90% they don't make money, 10% only make money. And I'm pretty much, I can tell you right now, if you're disciplined if you're what I call, if you don't mess around, if you don't pay heed to your emotions, like Microsoft stock is going to be the best in the market, Apple stock best in the market, doesn't matter whether it is A, B, C, D, or E. If you stick to the rules and if you use a particular trading algorithm for that one, then you can successfully say, yes, I will make money. And I can prove it to people that they can make money. So stock prediction, they use a time series analysis for that one. What is going to be the probability of this particular thing? You look into so many different patterns at time, the candlestick patterns, we have the RSI indicators, so many different indicators are available to you right now. And they all point to one particular thing. The biggest problem people face is when to enter the market and when to exit market. You also need to know that you could make money while stock is going up, and you can also make money while stock is going down. That is another thing. Stock market prediction, very important thing. Analytics being a significant thing. Time series analysis, one of the things that being used widely in the prediction purposes. Next one is natural disasters prediction and evacuation. As you see, latest thing in West Bengal and Odisha. I mean, they've taken a lot of steps. The super cyclone that came in right now, they said if they had not taken this, still with those amount of steps, there were almost like 100 people passed away. They said if they had not taken the steps, probably about almost like 1 lakh people would have been killed. That's what they are saying right now. So that is another area that you could be using analytics for that. Basically, it predicts the wind speed. It predicts the angle at which it is going to do, what kind of distraction is going to take place, what are the vulnerable spots in the neighborhood. If you have several buildings, what I call there, some of the buildings going to be hidden from those ones. But what are the buildings that are going to be knocked out? What are the communication towers that are going to be knocked out? Okay, who are the people living in the slum areas? How they are going to need to be protected, so on and so forth. All those kinds of prediction analytics that could come there into that picture. Okay, now data scientist here. One of the key things, data scientist roles. Okay, when you look into the job market, there are zillions of what I call names that have been given. You got to be careful. Don't get carried away by the names that they're using. Sometimes they use the names so interchangeably, you don't even know what they're asking for, but you need to look into the specifics of that particular job. Go to the job description, find out what they're looking for. Is a data scientist? What is the role of a data scientist? What is a data analyst, data architect, data statistician, data engineer? So many different things that is coming into that picture. Sometimes they use the terms very interchangeably. You could look at it, ML specialist, AI specialist, and people come back to me and ask me a question, is machine learning part of artificial intelligence? Are they different? No, machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Okay, so you have to check to see what the job description entails. And hundreds, like a software engineer, software scientist, your software developer, you name it. So many different ways that you call that particular person. So you need to look and say, these are basically the roles, basically business analyst. Right now, my suggestion for those people who are in the academics, one of the things which I would very strongly advise people, what they call, the students are getting really good. They are very curious, and they know for a fact the job market is really good for people with the data science background. For example, TCS, I can tell you, previously they used to hire people in 3.5 lakh range. Now with the data scientist qualification, they are hiring people the 6.5 lakh range. So many cognizant is doing that. Okay, so you may want to look into and see, and that's the reason we will come into that particular role to look and see what different things are there right now. Okay, so these are the different things, different things that are available to us, different names, and you need to look into the job description before jumping and say, I am qualified for this, I'm not qualified for this. You need to check with mark. Okay. All right, key areas. I've said basically financial analytics, we already talked about it. Social media analytics. Absolutely. I mean, I know you guys don't like LinkedIn, you know, like Facebook, no WhatsApp, right? I make no Twitter, no nothing, right? Well, I have to tell you guys, I mean, social media is playing a significant part in everything. Right now, look at the re-election for Trump. Thousands and thousands of what they call Twitter messages come in, Facebook, and they want to predict if a particular person, what is the probability of him getting re-elected. Okay, let's take a simple example here. Okay, I mean, forget this, what they call the biryani and this booze that they give to the people for voting. Okay, forget that. If you're actually going to predict if a particular MLA is going for re-election, what are the things you're going to be looking at? If it is a fair game, I'm telling you it's a fair game. I'm not talking about anything else, no politics, no nothing. Things that you're going to be looking at is, number one, what is the unemployment rate in this particular thing? Have new industries come into that neighborhood? Are there hospitals? People who are worried about sanitation? Are there water supply? Okay, are there enough stores in that particular neighborhood? There are hospitals, they have colleges, they have universities. There's so many different things that people, each one has got its own preference. They've got 100 different items that come into that picture when we try truly look for electing a particular individual. Okay, so having said that, I'm talking about a fair election. I'm not talking about the what they call people paying money to get them re-elected or not, but these are the different things. But you will be, when you want to predict the probability of this particular person getting re-elected, what do? You go to the population. You cannot interview the entire population. You go for the sample. You just go to a particular neighborhood and then basically see, what is the probable, you need to take a sample, and the sample, you cannot take the sample arbitrarily. The sample has got to be proportional to that particular group. If you're talking about a high income group, their preference is going to be completely different from a low income group. They're going to be looking for something else. So that sample is going to be reflective of the entire neighborhood population. You got to be careful when you're doing that particular sample. You look at it and then talk to them. What is it that you like most about the current MLA? Some of the questions that are there, some of them are pointed questions, some of them are kind of, they look and see whether you're telling the truth. They pose the questions in a way, the first question that they have done could be repeated again in a different manner. So whether they want to check to see if you're consistent with your answers. And finally, they come back and say, hey, this particular guy has a probability of winning the election is 75%. Well, that kind of analytics is going on in that particular, anything for that matter, for your movie star, how good this particular movie star has done in a particular movie. We look into that popularity of that particular thing, then you can predict what is going to be the projected income from the release of that particular movie. Type of thing, you can look into that. Retail analytics, we just talked about it. E-governance, right now e-governance play a significant role. All the government organizations, previously they used to have, I'm sorry to say, if you want to pass a file from one entity, you put an application for some kind of what they call right now, sanction. They had a big file that they put up, and the big file will have a signature from one level to another level to another level. By the time the file comes out, it's got about 10 different signatures and it comes out. And it takes inordinate delay in that one. Now what they're looking at is now how do you quickly dispose of the files? You enter all those, and basically when you look at it, you put your electronic signature into it, move on. The screen will pop up to the next level, the next level. That is how they quickly dispose the files. So you don't have the stack of files, but you have what they call the backup. You have the electronic copy, and you'll also have the backup in a remote location. That's another thing that you're looking at. And analytics plays a significant role. Some other things, for example, I would give you a very quick example in Bombay. When people, in fact, I personally had looked into it. In the previous times when they used to apply for loan for getting cabs, like the Olas and the Ubers, they want to have the cabs. It seems they used to pay a huge, what they call the intermediary, huge bribe. Now everything is transparent, and previously it used to take at least 2 to 3 months. Now when you submit the application, I'm talking about the pre-COVID times, it used to, they will give you a deadline. Within 72 hours, it will be disposed of, and they are doing it. Wonderful mechanism. In Andhra Pradesh, for example, we had a lot of e-governance initiatives being taken by the previous government, and I'm pretty sure the current government is also taking it right now. A lot of e-governance, a lot of files, a lot of things are being done with the things, basically. And the another area, basically, they are looking at how, right now, there is another thing, Supreme Court. I don't know how many people have read it. They are looking at finding out different ways to speed up disposing of the cases. They are right now telling the previously injunction would take forever when the case needs to, what they call, it takes a long time for the case to come before a judge. And after it somehow finds a way to the judge, another injunction will come into the picture, and this case will be kept pending for another 6 months or 1 year. By the time a person applies for what they call some kind of remedy or some kind of grievance that is filed in the court, by the time he gets it, probably his grandson will achieve the fruit, not him. That kind of thing is happening. So they are looking at various ways to disposing of the files. And right now I can give you another analytic thing that is happening in the court of law. Okay, previously they have all the, what do you call, the judgments are being, they're converting all the judgments into, what do you call, from the paper form right now all into the electronic forms. Now they are looking at similar cases, and what are the judgments in those cases? What are the persons who are arguing against in that particular case? They are looking at the points that are favorable to them, and similarly the points which are unfavorable to them is being looked at by the opposition. And they're looking at so many different judgments, and the judges are coming right now. Supreme Court has said, look into different ways we could dispose of the cases in a rapid fashion without jeopardizing what I call the fairness to the client. They're looking into that one. Okay, HR analytics, very critical. In fact, my colleague and me, we have done a lot of different things. Thousands of people use HR analytics. It's not just hiring. Hiring has become more scientific. The thing that we were looking in the past, who is the related to, that's not anymore. They're looking into the fact that how is that particular person going to benefit the organization? What are the traits in that particular person that could be utilized to the fullest extent? How can, we don't want to have a square plug in a round hole and vice versa. We want to absolutely make sure this is the perfect fit for the job. And also they are looking into other areas. If this person is moved out of this job, the HR analytics is looking into that particular area. That if he is moved to a different position, would he be able to contribute to that particular job? That's the thing. What kind of training does he require? People talk about hiring and firing. I've been part of this thing. I managed a huge group of employees and almost 10,000 employees working for me. You know how much it costs? There's a tremendous amount of cost involved when you fire a particular employee, because you're hiring a new employee, and by the time he comes up to speed, it's almost 6 months. And 6 months productivity is lost. Not only that one, he's not going to be, but the company has spent a lot of money training him, the previous employee. And the current employee, they got to train him also. They are looking at analytics. They say, what kind of training is good for this particular employee so that I could basically utilize them for various roles in the company. They also do this cross-training. Cross-training is just not for intended to what they call put a check mark into the resume. Oh, I've been trained, I did this. I will give you an example. Capgemini people, we've been doing a lot of MNCs. Capgemini, they're looking at how do their particular group of project people lost their projects. They wanted to see how they can utilize these people in different other roles. They look into the analytics of that. See what kind of profile is he, how would he match that particular job? What is the probability of him succeeding in the job? What kind of training level I need to provide? It's another big analytics that is going in. And they also look into what is the probability of this person leaving a particular job, okay? Because somebody offers them 100 rupees extra. What should I do to retain that particular employee? Everybody doesn't have what they call the same thing. Some people maybe, I mean, majority of the people, of course, to be looking at the money, but a lot of people would be looking at the security. Job security is very important. The level, the group that they're working with, that is very important to you. The guy who is managing that particular group, he can't work for a crackpot who is managing you every time he changes that one. No, he can't work for those kind of guys. You know, you don't have any kind of what they call, you don't have a feeling that you belong to the organization. So analytics plays, the bunch of people quit that particular job. They look and say, oh, some trend is happening. Why is it happening? They analyze it further and then say, okay, that is because the lead manager is not good enough. He needs training. He's not sensitive to the employees. So many different analytics come into that picture, of course. The next one is the web analytics. A lot of different things, you all know, different things that are coming up in the webs, basically. How analytics play a critical part in the web, basically. Marketing analytics, you know, I don't have to tell, we have already talked about it. Healthcare analytics. Healthcare analytics, I'll give you a simple example of healthcare analytics. Right now, one of the key things all the pharmaceutical companies are doing right now, they are trying to validate the efficiency of a particular drug. So what they do is they take a particular sample from a population and they divide that particular sample equally among different what they call groups, 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. This sample, this sample is basically subdivided into groups. Then they have different formulations of the medicine. They give it a drug A to group 1, drug B to group 2, drug C to group 3, so on. Next, what they do is basically, if that particular, say for example, drug B is given to a particular group and this particular group have recovered from that particular illness, say for example, the drug for COVID. If I had given that particular drug to group B and they've all recovered, can I safely say that this particular drug is the best? If somebody says yes, it's not correct. The reason here is you do not know that particular group that you have taken, even though they have the same age, same characteristics and everything, what kind of medicines that they took before they took this particular COVID drug. They could have taken a homeopathy drug or some other Ayurvedic drug, or they have taken something else, some other allopathic medicine. And that particular medicine in conjunction with the new drugs worked wonders. So you have to check and see what are the other pertinent facts, what are the other features that you need to take into consideration before you can declare this particular drug is very efficient or not efficient. I say another example you would have seen on papers. Oxford, they have come up with a vaccine for COVID. And one day report, you say basically you're saying this Oxford vaccine, they worked wonders on animals. but they failed the first trial. Okay, but they are going to go ahead and do the second trial. They are saying that the sample that they worked with is not a fair sample. So they are going to look into the second phase of the trials. Similarly, they talked about hydroxychloroquine worked wonders, but there are so many different things. So we have to do analytics on that before we can really say, yes, this particular drug has worked wonders, and a report on hydroxychloroquine is going to come in the next 15 days, whether it would be a really good medicine for preventative as well as a curative thing for COVID. So you have so many things. You have the preventative thing, which are the vaccines, and the curative things, which are the drugs that are available. And sometimes the same drug could be used as a preventative too. So you look into that one too. So healthcare analytics, everybody, basically you look into the diagnostics. Significant role, what I call your radiologist is performing. In the previous cases, when they find a lump in a particular part of the body, they're going to just say it is a lump, but they won't know anything else. Nowadays, they are having so many other records available to them. And if this particular lump matches the characteristics of the data that is available in their database, they would come back and tell, yes, this is a lump, this measures this one, this has got the same characteristics as a benign or a cancerous. They could see that. That's so another big thing. Now, robotic surgeries. The surgeon is located about 3,000 miles from this place. And he got anesthetic and assistant in here just to do the cutting, initial cutting and stuff, and the anesthesiologist to give the anesthesia to the patient. But the surgeon is using a robot for surgery. The robot is being programmed. Programmed from point A to, from the surface point A to point B inside. All they when provided with is, this is the tumor that needs to be removed. They also provide the robot with what are the things it should not touch, what are the arteries it should not cut, what are the veins it should not cut, what are the organs that should not be what they call touched upon. Okay, so you look into so many different things, and the robot comes up and says, you have a program that comes up and says, okay, analytics plays into the picture. This is the best way to reach that particular spot, and without loss of blood, significant loss of blood, and significant distraction to the surrounding organs. So once again, analytics play very significant. And right now, I had my thesis basically on diagnostics. And that is my, in the artificial intelligence side. He had so many different, what you call, patients coming in with different symptoms. The doctor is provided before that is one of the projects that we did also, basically my thesis and everything, where the doctor is provided with so many different symptoms and also provides you what could be the particular disease that patient is suffering from, and also what could be the remedies for those. So these are all basically the guidance that is being provided to the doctors. So healthcare analytics is another very important thing that analytics plays a significant role on. Diagnostics, your surgeries, you name it. The efficiencies of the drugs, those are the booming thing. In fact, all the pharma companies are working to the peak, basically. But right now, today I saw, oh, pharma companies are 20% decline in their revenue. Yes, because that has been a lot of things that are happening. But I'm pretty sure in the US companies and all Indian companies, they will be working to the full strength, not only for the existing drugs, but for the new drugs that are going to be coming to what I call from the curative side. All right, the next one is the supply chain analytics. Where should I position my, what I call, supply warehouse? I need to supply to 10 different districts. And the lead time is a significant part. How do I operate that one so that it reaches whenever a customer walks into that particular store, the product, there should not be a no or not availability as an answer. It should be right on time. How do I do that? There are so many things that come into the picture. Point A, if you're positioning your warehouse at a point A, okay, what is the lead time from point A to B, C, D's? And how do I cut the lead time? What are the things that I need to, what are the trucks I'm going to be using, and how it is going to cover the different routes, efficiency of the routes, basically. All those things come under the supply chain analytics. And also nowadays companies are looking at sourcing materials. If I am in Andhra, I want to source a particular part. The part could be very cheap in Chandigarh, but Hyderabad to Bangalore is about 550 kilometers. The same thing is available in Bangalore, but it's more expensive. Should I get a more expensive item, but it is quicker from Bangalore, less transportation cost? Or do I need to go to Chandigarh, where even though it is cheaper, lead time is much more, and transportation cost is going to be higher? Do I go for that particular product? This is always a dilemma for the business people right now. Okay, so that is another supply chain. HR analytics, we just talked about it, the whole 9 yards. All right, now these are basically the different, what they call the pay scales for different people. Okay, you look at it, it is given by the Glassdoor, the data scientist, business intelligence manager, data architect, business architect, data engineer, so on and so forth. The highest paid one is the data scientist, 118,709. It is not only in India, the world also basically. The Americans basically in the dollars, $118,000. Same thing in India also, like TCS, they've set an example, 6.5 lakhs, entry-level people are getting it. If you have 2 years, I know so many people, 3 years experience in that particular field, they're looking at 9 lakhs, 10 lakhs in the field. And if you're super efficient, they're getting into the 15 lakhs, 18 lakhs group. That is basically within this short span of 5-6 years. So that's a huge demand for that kind of people. So that is what the basically highest paid job is, a data scientist. And remember, as I said before, they use the term interchangeably. So if they call for a business intelligence developer, they could be looking at, it's all convoluted. So you just need to look into the job description and see what they are looking for. Do I have the skills necessary for that particular job in the job description, not the title that you need to be looking at. Okay, skills needed for a data scientist. Number one, programming skills. I know that some of you guys do not have programming skills. Don't get scared. Python is one of the simplest programming. I mean, I would say it's very simple. In the olden days, people used to work with COBOL, and even COBOL, you had to do so many different things. But right now, Python is so simple, anybody can learn it. And very, very intuitive, and you can easily look at it. And if I write a 5-line code or a 10-line code in Python, and my Java developers will be scratching their head and writing a 300-line code, I could achieve the same thing with a 10-line. The hundreds of different libraries are available. We'll look into it as we move along, okay? The next one is basically the statistics probability. All right, the basic statistics like the mean, median, mode, standard deviation, measures of ascendant tendency, you need to know. Then you need to know what they call, not only that one, you'll be looking at basically the various kinds of distributions that you have. What is a normal distribution? What is a binomial, normal, binomial, Poisson, Bernoulli's, so many different distributions are there. What you need to look into that. You also need to into the probabilities, basically. I'm not saying that you got to be an expert in that particular level, but you need to know enough probability for you to understand what is going on. If I say right now, 99% chance that particular thing is going to fail, the probability is 0.99, you should immediately be able to deduct from that one, yes, my product has got a failure rate of 99% or a success rate of 99%. Okay, that is what you need to be looking at. How do I see? I know for a fact our college system is one of the best in the world with regards to theoretical stuff. Yes, we do wonders on that one. But where we lag is basically the practical thing. And I want you guys to focus more on the practical aspect of it. In our training methodologies, we have about 30% and 70%, 30% theory and about 70% practical. But you need to have enough theoretical knowledge for you to succeed. Okay, I'm not saying theory is bad. You need to know theory, but you need to know enough theory basically to understand what is going on and have lots of hands-on experience to what they call to be successful in this arena. All right, probability is one of the things that you're looking at. Then you're looking at different hypotheses. What is null hypothesis? What is alternate hypothesis? So on and so forth. You look into that one and how do you formulate that when you get into it. Then you also look into what they call, you know, not only the probabilities, basically, you'll be looking at so many other things in this, like the t-test. What is a chi-square test? What is the f-test? And how are they going to be applied in your particular algorithms? So that is basically a thing in statistics you need to be aware of, basically. Algorithms in the machine learning, there are thousands of algorithms that are there. I would say basically each one will come up with an algorithm and say, this is the greatest and the best on the planet. Can I master all the algorithms? Absolutely not, and you don't need to. There are 7 or 8 basic algorithms that you can do your job with. You can absolutely do your job with. I can challenge anybody. If he comes up with the probability of using a particular algorithm, the 7 or 8 top ones, and he gets a probability of 77%, then the most refined one will be probably about 80%, 3%. One that you need to take all the pains to do that. Okay, but I can safely say, based on our experience, I will always be telling people, go for the biggest and the greatest thing on the planet. Look for simple solution, look for simple algorithms and see what you get. And then you apply different other algorithms that are available to you and see what different results you get. Pretty much that will tell you where you are positioning yourself. Okay, the data research, of course, a lot of things are being done in the data, and one of the key things that you'll be looking at right now, okay, how do we go about procuring the data for you, for your purpose? Not only procuring, you also need to do something called the data wrangling, which is manipulation of the data suitable for your purpose. A lot of times you'll get a data which is being convoluted or being mixed or ingrained in a huge amount of data. How do I extract that particular data and and do acquire the data absolutely for my purposes? You need to look into that. Then you look into what I call one of the key challenges data scientists have. They will prepare a wonderful report. I'm sorry, a 100-page report, give it to the management. Go to the manager and ask him, hey, I submitted the report 2 days ago. Did you have a chance to look at it? He's going to come back to you and say, no, I didn't have a chance. Oh, I will definitely look at it. 4 days later, you go, same answer. 10 days later, you go, same answer. They don't have time to go through the 100-page report. But what if you have the 100-page report on the front of it, you have beautiful bar graphs. Say, for example, you're talking about sales. How the sales is the current year compared to previous years. How it is varied by the season. It's month-to-month difference, season-to-season difference. How, what do you call, how do you stand up to the industries? What are the top industries doing? What are their sales? And how do you compare with them? If you are able to present it in one chart, one page, and give it to your manager, he immediately looks at it. Oh my God, I am able to see what is going on. Which particular product is being sold most? Which region is taking that particular product? Which region we are not having sales? Where do I focus? What kind of ads did I place in that particular region? So on and so forth. He is able to analyze that and immediately. So visualization plays a significant role. And in Python, we have something called the matplotlib. Seaborn, matplotlib, really good. They're really good. And people, of course, in the industry, they're looking at Tableau. Tableau is another very important tool that is being used, and the name has been used widely and people are using in the industry for various purposes. Okay, so you can use different tools for presenting your report. Okay, of course, machine learning, we'll be talking about so many different, what do you call, different types. Basically, you're starting from the simple linear regression to multilinear regression to logistic regression. Then you have the decision tree, the random forest, a k-means cluster, k-nearest neighbor. And those are the very popular ones, very commonly used in the different types of data. We will touch upon the different types of data that are going to be available to us also. Okay. And another thing, basically, people think nowadays, I am a data scientist, I am an engineer, I don't need to know, I just need to know engineering. Yeah, engineering is great. But what if you have some kind of domain knowledge? You're working in a company, basically, and you are working, what do you call, where you have to wear several different hats. Nowadays, the rule is you're not confined to one particular group, especially the managers. You're going to wear multiple hats and get the domain knowledge. Marketing, if you have marketing, you can do the marketing analytics, the financial analytics, HR analytics, so many different domains. But if you're going to be, especially in the scientific world, scientific data, you can look into so many different researches that are happening. Say, for example, you're looking into, you're becoming a data scientist, you're looking into the efficiency of the particular drugs. So you may be looking at some kind of domain knowledge in the biomedical field. Okay. You need to have domain knowledge into different theories, the chemistry, the chemical composition, so on and so forth, that any domain knowledge, if you're in that going to be applying for a job, data is data. I'm telling you guys, it's no different. But how you're going to interpret it, and if you have the domain knowledge, you could really rule the world. And that's what I used to tell a lot of people, not only here, I used to tell all the people globally. I've been a regular person, basically. I used to be faculty at various Texas universities also. And I still do that. I tell them exactly the same. Data is data. But if you have some domain knowledge, you will be able to interpret the results correctly and take it to a different level. That's what you're looking at right now. Okay. So machine learning, subject matter expertise, and communication. Communication plays a significant part. You may be the best, and especially the students. I'm telling you right now, guys, you have the best GPA, 9.5 out of 10. That is not going to help you anywhere, basically. If you're failing in your, what I call, initial group discussion, if you're nodding your head back and forth, saying that whatever the next guy does, yes, I'm okay with that type of thing, you're going to be discarded. They always say, the loud noise is being heard more than anybody who is being quiet. So you got to communicate effectively. That is important thing. You can do all kinds of what I call graphs, charts, analytics, and everything. But if you're not able to present it in the form which is clearly which could be clearly be interpreted by the management, and all your work is gone. If you present it in a form where it is being convoluted, you will not go anywhere. So be crisp and present it well. That's the thing. Those are the things, skills needed for your data scientist to be successful, basically. And right now, syllabus is changing so much. Python is compulsory in most universities. Absolutely, yes. Electives and core subjects include NLP, machine learning, deep learning, so on and so forth, okay? And everything is open source. That also you need to be aware of. Everything is available for you for free, and a lot of migrations taking place in the cloud, okay? And everybody is looking at the APIs right now. And also basically the teachers, the students are all getting what I call really good. And they are really catching up to the trend. And all the faculty members should definitely look to upskill themselves. And I mean, We are learning every day. We come up with a problem. One kid comes in there and gives that problem to me. I said, oh my God, what is this problem? Let us look at it. It's not an immediate solution that is available to you. You learn it every day. So there is never an end to the learning. And teachers, I humbly request every one of you to upskill yourselves so that you are, you can work with the students effectively and be a great guide for them. All right. And also it basically helps in research publications. Absolutely. Nowadays, all this NAC and all the UGCs, they're looking at how many publications you have done. So you need, and one request, please don't do this copy paste thing. Okay, a lot of things are basically, of course, they look into the plagiarism, and there are also tools that look into that could, what do you call, counter the plagiarism things too. You write a sentence, what do you call, I have seen God or something. There's so many different ways. If you copy that particular sentence, there's several ways to beat that one. There are tools available for that one, but please be, what do you call, sincere in your publication. Even if you publish, you don't need a 100-page publication. You see, you have found something that is good, get it done. India is the worst in basically in two things. One, through research, but I've seen so many people have got brilliant ideas, and they are not coming up, they are not presenting themselves for copywriting or publications and for patenting. We are the worst in the world with regards to patenting. Look at the, I'm saying people talk about we stealing what they call the patents from other countries, but I would say differently. There are a lot of things which we have come up with. For example, turmeric powder. Who has found out the efficiency of the turmeric powders? Like that, so many different things have come up. We are the ones, we have done it. But only thing is, our fault is we never patented, we never copyrighted, and we have a huge hesitation in doing it. Our bureaucracy is very high, and of course, all the powers of the bee, they need to work on it and see how do you take this copywriting, publications, and what they call, I would say, patenting, be done fast and efficiently. Please do that. So that's another thing that I'm requesting everybody to do that too. All right, so what are the most popular tools for data science? One, Python, R. R, very good statistical package. In fact, previously you had everything almost done and people used to talk about R's all the time. Okay, now you lot of this because R was excellent in statistics. Now Python also has got so many different libraries which are very good in statistics too. We can get almost similar results in Python too. Of course, R is still good, but Python is simpler and you can do that. Both are simple. Don't take it differently from SAS is another thing very, very popular. And people used to say Excel. Oh, Excel. This guy is still using Excel. I don't know how many people have really looked into Excel. Excel is an excellent tool. It may not be great for the large, very, very large data, but you can still use that particular Excel for a lot of analytics. It's a great thing. If you study Excel, if you look into Excel, people talk about Excel, only this pivot point, this, and projections, so on and so forth. But when you look into it, there are so many different features in Excel that you can use. And especially people from the business field, they can use Excel to a great deal and achieve lots of good results. Okay, the additional tools are basically Scala, Java, TensorFlow. Of course, people who become Java programmers, all right? Basically, they used to be what they call, we have so many requirements in Java ourselves, but you don't find those people. They've all migrated to different things, For one time, Java was the most sought out, basically, field. Now, it is developed so much right now. So additional tools are Scala, Java, TensorFlow. All right, so with that, we have a great understanding of what are you going to be doing basically. Then I will switch on to the next group of slides basically, where we will be talking about I'm not going to be teaching Python right now, okay? Because teaching Python itself will take a long time, okay? I'll also not be doing a lot of statistics too, because that is also will entail, if we talk about statistics, it will also take a lot of time. So I'll move on to the next slide, basically, that you will get a glimpse of what is happening in the machine learning world. So please bear with me just for a second. Let me switch over to the next slide, all right? Hang on one second. Okay. Okay. Um, we are back right now. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, we are able to see. If we can put it in the presentation mode, it will be great.
Right. I'll do that. Great. Okay. What are the different parts in data science that you think are involved in it? Number one is the big data. It's all part of data science too. Everybody talks about big data, big data, big data. I mean, if you look into that one, it's actually a science in itself. Previously, when people used to, I'll just give you a glimpse of what big data is all about before we move into other things. Basically, you have huge amount of data that are necessary. For example, you want to what I call open up a store, and that particular store is basically selling. You intend to sell a particular brand of LED TVs. Say, for example, Samsung. Okay, that is your intention. The purpose is I want to make money. I'm putting up a store. I like this wonderful location here. I liked it so much because I think this is going to be the best in the world. I will make a lot of money. Would that be good enough for you to start up a particular store? Absolutely not. You may succeed, you may fail, but most likely the probability of success is less than 50%. So you don't want to invest the money and that money will go into the drains. Now, so many different things are involved in it. First thing, what do you need to do? What is the demand? What kind of population are you dealing with? What kind of income level are available to that population, basically? What are the stores nearby? What do they sell? What is the brand that is moving fast? Suppose you have 3 Samsung stores nearby. You're going to be looking at that one, all the 3 stores, and you're going to be the 4th store in that place. You're going to be competing with them, or you're going to be looking at other LED TVs. What are the other LED? What is the preference for the people in that particular area? Having said that, yes, there is a huge demand for this particular product. Now, location of the store plays a significant part. You put your store in the 3rd floor of a building with no lift. How many people are going to climb up to look into your store, whether other stores are located at the floor level? Second, parking. What kind of in and out thing that you have? What is the access for that particular building? What is the location? What kind of parking facilities are available to you? And when you walk into the store, what kind of customer service you get from that particular thing? What do you expect? What people expect? All those things play. So many different features are there. So many different, if say, for example, store A, B, C, D, and these people are making this much of sales. What are the items that that they are selling? What is the percentage of this particular TV compared to the whole number of TVs that are being sold? Okay, then what kind of customer service they provide? You need to look into all those kinds of things. When you look and analyze it, and not only that one, but you have to look into the trend in the industry. These people are selling right now greatly this 4K LED TVs, but there is something else coming up and a lot of stores are switching over to this new one. Would you want to stick to the 4K TVs, or are you going to look for the new ones? You need to check into that. So the point here is you have so much of data available from different sources. And you are trying to figure out what would you call the top 5 thing basically that is going to affect my sale, or what going to be make my sale more effective on that kind of thing. So you're looking at huge amount of data, and we are using a big computer. People start using the big computers and then say, okay, I have the greatest and the best computer on the planet. Great. Okay, I'm using whatever the latest generation i7 or whatever it is, I'm using that. Or if you're using for a big server in a corporate environment and you're plugging in your query and you want to find out what is being sold in the entire industry, you have kind of all kinds of data available to you. It is going to scrape details from the web. Basically, you have so many, the tools are called web scraping tools. And one of the tools being successfully used is called the Beautiful Soup. You're using that particular tool to scrape all the kind of information from the web. You're going to do that. Now you have so much of accumulated information. That particular one, if I put it in a supercomputer, you put in a query, like I am presuming a lot of people are familiar with SQL. If we select something from this one, then you look at it, then you have a cup of coffee, come back, still working on it, have lunch, come back, still working on it. Now dinner also, it's going to be working, it's working on the same query. Huge amount of data that it is trying to do. So what you do is basically you take the whole chunk of data and then break it into smaller chunks. And each one is about 128 MB or 64 MB, and place it in local computers, which is called the commodity computers, which your guys are all using, your laptops, your desktops, and so on and so forth. And the same program is operating on each one of those things. Okay, that is the data itself. And this is particular thing, the file system that takes care of the whole thing is called HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System, where it takes care of all the splitting. And there is one program that is operated previously in the version 1, basically have something called the MapReduce, which is written in Java, working on each one of the chunks and try to extract the information from each one of the chunks of data that is being provided. Okay, so this is the analogy, and I'm going to give basically, it is like, you're having a poll election. There are so many different ballot boxes, hundreds of ballot boxes. And if you have one person count the entire ballot box, he's going to take forever to count it. But what if I have 100 people assigned to 100 ballot box, and each one of them does exactly the same as the other? That is the analogy I will give it to you. He's going to count basically A, B, C, D, 4 persons are standing for elections. He's going to count how many votes A got, finally B got, C got, D got, and finally all of them are compiled and then say the winner is A or B or C or D. We're going to do that. That is basically that is what is being done in your big data. Very simple. If you understand it, becomes very complicated if you don't visualize it correctly. And the programs in MapReduce was written in Java, and a lot of people do not know Java. So we have so many other interpreters basically that converts from a simple SQL type of statements like the Hive and convert it into a language which is understood by MapReduce, which is Java. and then gets back the information back to the hive thing environment and gets you the results. And there are so many different input output tools to input the data and output the data. We have tools for that one too. Okay, then we have something called, now the MapReduce after this one, the first version, then we introduced something called YARN, Eternal Research Negotiator. We have that one. Then we have for the tools, we have something called the PIG, as I mentioned. We have some that is the language that is being used. Okay, that is all similar to, that is a programming language that they are using basically for that purpose, and acts similar to your, what do you call, it takes your commands, convert it to language understood by MapReduce, and then works on that distributed file system. So you have so many different called zookeepers and all those kinds of things, which controls the flow of data and monitors who has whom. And we also have something called replication of the data. What if a particular set of data, because we are dividing the data into chunks, and one particular what they call PC goes bad, goes down, what are you going to do? So we have replicas of the data. Normally we have 3 copies of the data, and if one fails, we jump to the next one, and we have somebody who who knows where the data is being kept, which computer has got which kind of data, where are the replicas stored, so on and so forth. And that is the nutshell basically on the big data. So many things are involved, and that is really very interesting. People should know. And and this data is being used, and they are going to provide the data for future analytics. Okay, the analytics, all the analytics could be done after processing the data, make the data available for your purpose, and you work with the data and do the predictions. All right, data mining. Basically, once again, we are trying to get the, what they call, the data that is absolutely necessary for our purposes. You look into that one. Okay, extract the data, whatever the data that is relevant for our use, we are going to be doing that. The next, it's all hidden. Sometimes the data is not very, what they call, transparent. It is hidden. We need to find a way how to extract that particular data and then intelligently use it for our purposes. Next one is data analytics, as we are talking about right now. Data analysis is basically what has happened in the past. Okay, how are you going to be, what they call, basically you have something called the descriptive analytics. It tells you what has happened in the past, and it also tells you what are the different areas that work fine, and what are the different areas it needs a lot of help, which areas failed, and based on the past trend, what that is basically all the descriptive things. Last 5 years, 10 years, sales statistics, or whatever it is, the finance statistics, all the statistics that you have basically, that is called the descriptive analytics. Now, what is going to happen in the future? We'll be looking at something called the predictive analytics. 2 years from now, what is going to be my sales? 3 years from now, what is going to be my sales? Or what, so many different things. What is going to be my turnover? Okay, and what is going to be my investment on this one? So many different things are available to us. So that is basically your predictive analytics. So we have the descriptive analytics. We are looking at the predictive analytics and the prescriptive analytics. That is basically you are predicting something based on a particular set of rules that you're going to be working with, and to achieve your predicted results. Prescriptive, under these conditions, this will all happen. That's your prescriptive analytics. Okay, data science, machine learning, that's what you'll be looking at right now. So look at this graph. When people come and ask me, sir, is AI different from machine learning? Your answer is machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. And deep learning is one of the advanced machine learning, or it's also a subset of machine learning too. So the data mining, data science, big data, that's what we talked about right now. So many different things are involved. When they say data science, they use the term so widely. And that's the reason I'm telling you, when you're looking, when the students are looking for a job, or anybody looking for a job, you need to look into the job description first, look exactly what they're asking for, and then go with that. Okay, and be prepared. Okay. Now, What is machine learning? Basically, I've jumped almost like I was in step 2, step 3. Now I jumped to step 14, assuming there are 20 steps. We have jumped into that machine learning right now. So because the idea right now, I will give you what I call the background in machine learning. Tomorrow we will try to do some what I call practical examples. Okay, so to see for yourself how machine learning is going to be absolutely be the thing that you all need to learn and become an expert in that particular arena. Okay, that is the plan of action. That's what we're going to be having right now. Okay, so machine learning is a scientific study of algorithms and statistical models. See, normal computer systems, they work on explicit instructions. You want to do A plus B equal to whatever, sum equal to A plus B, whatever it is, multiplication, division, subtraction, all the explicit instructions are there. But when you want the computer based on what is happening in the past, and based on that one, I'm going to ask the computer to predict what is going to happen. That is what the machine learning model is all about. It's simulating your human brain. And in a nutshell, it is simulating your human brain. You're predicting something, but a scientific way of doing it based on what has happened in the past. That is what it is. Okay, so typical example, you have your pilotless or driverless cars become very popular right now. In US, you have so many of them right now. They are looking at it. They all are AI-driven vehicles. All are AI-driven vehicles. That's all we are having right now. What is the probability of what do you call you hitting somebody? We turn left and look into all those kinds of things, and very intelligently programmed. Okay, so that is one of the key areas that we're looking at. So it's so machine learning. When people ask you, what is it? It's actually a subset of AI. AI in machine learning. I know AI. That should be the answer if you know machine learning. All right. Okay. The machine learning algorithms build a mathematical model based on sample data known as the training data. That is common for everything. What is the training data? I'll give you a simple example here. You have a basket. The basket is filled with, say, some records. You have, say, 100 records. Okay. Now, the records, they got some input is there. Okay. Say, for example, I'll give you a simple example here. Say, years of education. All right. Years of experience, then salary. 3 columns or 3 important data things are there. One record, it consists of years of experience, years of education, and the third column, basically the salary. Okay, like that, you have 100 different cards. Each card has got only one particular record, that is record that I told you. Now, you put your hand inside that particular basket and grab as many cards as possible, probably about 70 to 80% of the cards. You grab the cards and throw the cards outside. Remainder, there are still going to be at least 20 to 30% cards still in the basket. All right, now what you're going to do, the cards that you have thrown out from the basket, you're going to go back and pick up those cards, and you are going to do something with the cards. What is it I'm going to be doing? I'm going to use the information that is available from the cards and build a model. All right. Now, what are you trying to do? I am going to be using, say, for example, years of education. Then I'm going to be using years of experience, and finally the salary. So I am going to take that particular data and plot it in an XY graph. Say for a simplicity's sake, I'm going to take just the years of experience and the salary. The one that says the years of experience, that's called the input variable future or the input variable. The output is your salary. Now, I'm looking at it right now. I got a bunch of cards. So what is the purpose? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to a graph sheet and plot the years of experience versus salary. What I say, for example, you have a person with 1 year experience is being paid 3.5 lakhs, 2 years, 4 lakhs, 4.5 lakhs, so on and so forth. 15 years of experience, you pay him say 20 lakhs, something like that. That is what we have. And the HR basically has given you all the statistics and you're plotting it on an XY graph, two-dimensional graph. Okay, what we are going to do, the plot that we developed right now is called the scatter plot. Just the points, we are just marking the points, no, basically. We're just marking X point, X and the corresponding Y, X and corresponding Y, so on and so forth. That is called the scatter plot. Now, the data that we are using for the scatter plot currently is called the training data. Got it? The data that we are going to be using, because that is the data that we are using it for all kinds of purposes right now. So the data that is being available to us is called the training data. Now, with that scatter plots, we got so many different plots out there. Now, my HR guy wants to say, you know, hey, look, I've paid a person with 1 year experience, 3.5 lakhs. There's no set policy in our company. If I like your face, I will pay you more. If I don't like your face, I will pay you less. I mean, that kind of attitude. Now it's all becoming scientific. Now, when you try to what I call draw the graph connecting all the points, you know, you will just go mad. You will not accomplish anything. You will be just having some kind of weird curve because the previous HRs were all haphazard. They just based on your looks or what do you call, if I like you type of thing, they were paying. So that is not the way. We got to go to a scientific way of doing things. Now, what we do with the scatter plots, one of the simple things that we do is basically draw a line that goes in between the scatter points. What do you do? Draw a line which goes in between the scatter points. And that line that goes in between is called the regression line. And since we are using one input, one output, basically, that is called simple linear regression. You guys must be wondering, is that simple? Yes. If you are able to understand the concept, what is being done, I'm telling you, it's not difficult at all. The words sound really bombastic. I want everybody to pay attention to what are we trying to achieve and what are the inputs that are given to you. I might have to go for the greatest and the world's best algorithm. No, simple algorithm like this will take care of your problem. Now, what I have done right now, I have drawn a regression line. What I'm going to do after drawing the regression line, I will go and show you the examples, and we will also do problems on that one, live cases also on that one. We will do that tomorrow as we move along for sure, but just assume that you have drawn the line. All right. Now, what is the purpose of that particular line? The purpose of that particular line is we have so many on the x-axis. Let's assume we have the years of experience. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. So I draw a line. A person is walking into my office and he has got 6 years of experience. Okay. That 6 years of experience, I'm going to project it to the line, 6 years, draw a vertical line and hits that regression line. At the junction, you draw a horizontal line, it will hit the y-axis. I'm going to predict that particular salary. Y-axis, let's assume it contains a salary. X-axis, years of experience, y-axis is the salary. I'm going to be looking at the salary. That salary that you get from the regression line is basically called the predicted salary. All right, now I'm going to go one step further. We have in the company, there are so many workers are working and they are basically, you know, they have 6 years of experience. They've been awarded salary like they are currently earning salary like 9 lakhs, 8.5 lakhs, 7.5 lakhs. Then you have 10 lakhs, 10.5 lakhs, so on. So many different ranges of salaries are being given. Okay. Now, when I draw this particular one, we are coming up with one particular salary right there, that the predicted salary, right? That predicted salary, we want to find out how much is the variation from the predicted salary to the actual salary. What are you doing? We are trying to find out what is the difference between the predicted salary and the actual salary. Now, you as a programmer, I am in the management. You are coming up with a statistic basically saying your predicted salary for that person is, they should be paid 9 lakhs. The company has been paying 9.25 lakhs or something. Let's assume that average salary the company has been paying is 9.25 lakhs. Yeah, that is what you call very close. But what if the company has been paying, the average in the company, they're paying 15 lakhs and your prediction comes out to be 9 lakhs. That means something you have to do with the model. The model is not correct. So you need to refine that model further. You need to have a better set of data and work with that data and make sure you have something called the best fit line. So we'll have more accuracy in your prediction. People strive for accuracy, am I correct? Absolutely, that's what you're looking for. We want to have more accuracy in your results. So that's what you're going to be doing. And that particular concept, I didn't even tell you anything. You have learned one machine learning model right now, which is called the simple linear regression. Does it sound too hard for you to learn? Absolutely not. Very simple, right? The same thing, when I am going to be using that for multiple variables. I had used only one feature before, and that one feature before was years of experience and salary. That's all I was doing. I was not doing anything else, all right? Now, if I'm going to be extending it to multiple features, that becomes multilinear regression. In other words, we can condense the whole thing as a set of features and use it in the x-axis, and then use the y-axis for the prediction purposes. That is called the multilinear regression. Okay, and what we are going to be doing, instead of having one variable, we will look into the slight mathematical thing, very simple mathematics that is involved in it. And some people get scared when we talk about mathematics, especially, I mean, of course, we Indians are really great in mathematics, but when I talk to the American group, when they hear mathematics or statistics, oh my God, it's like they've been hit with a rock. A lot of people, they get scared with the mathematics or statistics. They're good in communication, they're good in English, but mathematics, oh no, that's not my cup of tea. That's what they say. Anyway, I will give you the mathematics behind it when we go into it deeper, but this is the concept which I wanted to tell you and how easy it is. All right, okay. Now, to make predictions or decisions without being explicitly programmed to perform the task, that's what machine learning model is all about. We are predicting. Okay, I talked about the training data. Training data, we refine it, we'll get a good prediction. Now, we have some more cards in the basket, right? I said I used only 75% of the cards. Whatever happened to the 25% more? I'm going to go back to that one and I'm going to input those data. And that particular data, which I'm going to use just the years of experience, I'm going to do the prediction and compare that predicted value with the actual value. You have the actual value in the cards too, because the same set of cards. The only thing is I grabbed some, I left some. I grabbed that particular thing, the difference between the predicted value and the actual value. When you're using the test data, that is called the error. And obviously you want the error to be very less, right? That's what you're looking at. That is all it is, guys. Every single formulation, every single machine algorithm, basically using the concept, train data, test data. That's it. And sometimes they split it into three. Majority of them, they're using the train data and the test data. That's all you're going to be using. And you can do wonders with it. You can do all kinds of predictions. Do not start with the toughest algorithm. And do not start with what you call, I would say, hyperparameters, which God only knows. We've been working in this field for a long time yourselves. Every day they come up with a new hyperparameter. Hyperparameters are basically glorification of the chart or prediction or whatever it is. It gives you all kinds of things, what kind of lines I draw, what kind of color I do. It's called the dressing the bride a lot of times, okay? You need to look into it and then come up with it, okay? Next, used in wide variety of applications such as email filtering and computer vision. Spams. How do you know it is a spam? You don't want spams anymore, right? So it is looking for the keywords. And when the keywords come into the picture, it is going to automatically come in and say, oh my God, this is a spam. I don't want to deal with it. It puts it in your spam folder rather than your inboxes, basically. Computer vision, very important. In fact, a lot of people are talking about robotics, robotic vision, so on and so forth. That's getting a lot of steam right now. I want you guys to be looking into that particular area. That is going to be the future. That is going to be the future. And infeasible to develop an algorithm of specific instructions? Absolutely yes. I cannot have program, I cannot have instructions for everything on the planet. I can't do that. Okay. Having said that, okay, so we'll look into the artificial intelligence. And at the same time, I want to mention a couple of things. There are actually three types of data. Three types of data. One is called the structured data. The structured data, what it is, it really means is, say, I'll give you a simple example. You have a college record. You go to the finance people, they will have your name, your student ID, your address, okay, then which year you're in, what is the fees that you're paid, how much you're missing, and what's your father's name, that kind of thing. It is all but 10 columns that they have. All of them are filled out. Your phone number, your actual phone number, okay, and your father's phone number, so on and so forth. If you're defaulting on something, they will come and catch you, right? Basically. And people, I mean, I know how the education system works. You give a number where, you know, when, or what do you call, when they SMS that particular number indicating your grades, a lot of people, you know, it will reach the hired fathers or hired mothers. They don't, true grades don't reach their parents. And parents would be thinking, hey, this guy is doing an excellent job. Yeah, right. He never attended classes, you know, and the grades are pretty bad, type of thing. So you have the true number. So what I'm trying to say is basically in a structured data, we have relatively a set of columns, which is all structured. 9 columns, 10 columns, each of them are filled out. Okay, that is basically called structured. And we're using something called a relational databases, RDBMS, basically. And you're using the statements called SQL statements to retrieve the data from that one, so on and so forth. So that is what you're going to be using. Okay, that is structured data. Okay, the unstructured data, I know you guys don't know about unstructured, am I correct? Wrong. 99% of you are using Facebook. LinkedIn, WhatsApp, chats, your all kinds of things that you're using, Twitter, so on and so forth. No, these are all unstructured data. And unstructured data, that is what we have. It's a significant percentage. And that is where we want to get the information from, to extract the information from it and going to work with it. Even the structured data are available to you, and that data will provide you with a lot of information. So we are going to be using a bunch of different algorithms for working with the structured data and unstructured data. And in between, you know, we have what is called the semi-structured data. I don't know how many people are familiar with HTML, JSON files. They're all examples of semi-structured data. So we have three types of data: unstructured, structured, and semi-structured. And what are the different algorithms being used for each one of those? Okay, and how we are going to be working with those kind of data, basically. Right. So that is what machine learning is all about. How you're going to build a model and how you're going to be utilizing it for various predictions. Okay, now I've given you a background on the type of data, right? What is artificial intelligence? Of course, is an area of computer science that emphasizes the creation of intelligent machines that work and react like humans. Absolutely, that's what you're looking at right now. Some of the activities computers with artificial intelligence are designed for include speech recognition. Do I need to give what I call an explanation on speech recognition? Does any of your cell phones have speech recognition? Majority of your Android phones have it, right? Basically, if you're using an Apple phone, you're Siri. Then you have the Google, basically, in your Android phones. If you're Apple phones, you have the Siri. It reacts to your speech and does what you ask it to do. You know, so basically, that's recognizing the whole thing. Nowadays, the banks, for example, if you go to, I don't know how many people are banking with the Standard Chartered. There are so many different banks are utilizing that. You will, when you go to Standard Chartered and basically, you know, you are trying to find out what is the balance in your account or how much, whether a check got deposited or whatever it is, basically. When you dial up Standard Chartered, it will come up with a phrase. It says, in Standard Chartered, my voice is my keyword, or voice is the key. It will ask you to repeat that particular statement. When you make that particular statement, it automatically processes your speech and then comes up with the conclusion, yes, he's the owner of the account. You don't have to send in your user ID, you don't have to send in your password, you don't have in the previous cases, they will ask you so many different questions. What is your mother's maiden name, your father's name, your date of birth, so on and so forth. Now, they're using only your voice for recognition and then trying to make sure that you are the owner of that particular account. Then it will ask you this different things that's going to, you say, yes, input 1, 2, say yes, say no, whatever it is, or say 1, 2, 3, 4, or press 1, 2, 3, 4. Speech recognition being used. That is another big area AI is being used, right? Okay, designed to include. Then you have what I call machine intelligence. Basically, artificial intelligence, basically it's a machine intelligence. That's what you're looking at right now too. Now you're going into the further step, basically looking into the deep learning aspects of it, right? Okay, now, application of artificial intelligence, exhibited machine has many applications. One of the key applications that we're looking at is the medical diagnosis. Electronic trading platforms. As I said, I talked about medical diagnosis, right? Basically coming up with a symptom. I have flu, I have high temperature. Nowadays, don't go with the flu and high temperature or cold, but immediately they will take you to quarantine, okay? I mean, without even performing the test. Nowadays, they are very scary, but the normal diagnostics in the normal times, when you have a temperature, high temperature, fever, headache, backache, whatever it is, they have a list of things vomiting and all those kinds of things. They will categorize that it is a simple flu, or it is going to, you have exhibit, your platelet count is very low, then you could be exhibiting typhoid symptoms or dengue symptoms, whatever it is, all those kinds of things. So diagnosis play. Nowadays, the database is huge. And for every single one, with all you need to do, enter that particular symptom, and you will come up with what could be the possibility of a particular type of disease that you have. Even yourself, you have access to that one too, and how you could do that. So that's another artificial intelligence. Basically, the other thing which I talked about, basically in using the radiologist, using the guidance basically of the past records and coming up with diagnostics, basically, whether this particular tumor is malignant, or they come up with a probability theory saying that it's 95% that it is benign or malignant, whatever it is. So next one is basically electronic trading platforms, which is one of my favorite things. Okay, I look at it, I look into the trading platforms, it will come up. Yeah, the stock is going to hit right now, Nifty. You're trading in Nifty, for example, you have 9,500 mark. I don't know the today's return or a couple of days, basically. It was at 13,000, went all the way close to 9,000, 8,500, so on and so forth. What is the probability of Nifty hitting 11,000 in the next 6 trading days, or Nifty going to 7,000, or Bank Nifty going, or Infosys stock going? What is the prediction for those? So you have lots of different predicting algorithms for that. And the trading platforms basically say that is how these people predict. In fact, it's so much of science involved in it. And some people think it is just a gambling. No, it is not gambling. I'm telling you guys, it is. If you think trading is gambling, then any particular aspect is gambling too. You open up a store, you do a business, that is gambling too. Okay, then what is the probability of you not being hit by a car? You're walking on the road, that you're taking a gamble right there. You're walking on the road. So people used to think trading is gambling. It's not. Just want to tell you, there's so much of science involved in it. And if you look into it carefully, if you look into the patterns that are coming in, you can make real headway into it, and you can become one of the top guys in the prediction process. I'm very passionate about it, but I'm just telling you right now, you guys can become some of the top guys in this field and makes a ton of money too. All right, the next one is basically robot control. Of course, I talked about basically your surgeries and all, okay? And right now, drones are being used for various different purposes to find out what is going on, snooping into some territory, snooping in to see the battlefield. Drones are being used, what the enemy guys are having, so on and so forth. Drones are being used to deliver foods, okay? So many different purposes. You used it for taking pictures, deliver food, so on and so forth. And drones are being used even to carry what they call guns. That is another thing that we have learned, where they can fire the sniper bullets at people and the enemy lines, so on and so forth. Remote sensing, absolutely. Okay, also used for so many different other purposes also. Now AI has been used to develop and advance newer fields, including finance. One of the things basically banks are all worried about is the fraud. What is the probability of my loans getting bad? That's what they are worried about. What is the probability of if I give the loan to X, he will return back the money? Okay, so many different things are involved. And then finance also involves, like I gave you an example, expansion in the current location, expansion in a new location, or stay put. That's one of the things, that's the dilemma people are faced when they are going to be using the prediction purposes. Basically, they have to take into thing, basically, if this particular customer who is giving you, say, for example, you got a big order from a customer, and that particular order, say, for example, I'll give you a very typical example. You are manufacturing picture tube TVs, cathode ray TVs. Okay, you've been manufacturing that for a long time, and you got a company that is, say, a US company that is asking you to make 100,000 sets. Your normal production is to about 20,000 sets. They are asking 100,000 sets per month. All right. They're giving you a firm order. Fantastic. But your capacity is only 20,000 units. You got a big order. What would you do? Take the order or do not take the order and then work with whatever it is. If you don't take the order, somebody else will grab it. Is it a very simple decision to make? Absolutely not. You have to check to see what is that order going to be continuous or it's a one-time order. They, even if they sign a contract saying, hey, I signed a contract with JCPenney. JCPenney basically is one of the top companies in the US. Okay, we signed a big order with JCPenney. Okay, and JCPenney said, you know, right, we will give you order for 3 years. You give us this many pieces of a particular cloth or whatever it is, this many pieces. But
Sir,
what
excuse
happens?
me, sir.
Yeah, okay.
We will have to stop in next 2 minutes. It's already
Okay.
time.
Just
Okay.
2 minutes. Let me finish it and then we'll go from
Yeah.
there. Okay. Now, we have to check to see what is the state of that particular product. Cathode ray tube. Is it in the growth stage, maturity stage, or the declining stage? How many people are having cathode ray TVs in your house? Absolutely very few people. Is the order going to be continuous? What if recession comes in and this particular order, the company is not able to pay you money? They will get the stuff and they're not paying you money. And so many different factors come into that picture. And if you're able to answer them, if you're able to input all the data and finally come up with a conclusion saying that, hey, look, I've got this many features, I'm able to predict. I'm still with all the constraints, I'm going to be making money from this, jump into it. If not, even if you have the probability of less than 85%, I wouldn't touch it. All right, so with that, I will conclude the session for the day. We will revisit tomorrow. We will do some practical examples tomorrow too. I mean, there's so much to convey, very little time that is for us, but we will do the best we can to at least at the end of the session, you have decent knowledge on what data science is all about. With that, goodbye. See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much, sir, for
You're
an
welcome.
informative session.
Yeah.
Yeah, participants, I'm hoping the session was useful. So I have shared a survey feedback link. Okay, so this also, we are trying to use multiple artifacts for collecting attendance. So this feedback also will help us in refining our content tomorrow. Okay, so please fill in the feedback. So once you have copied this link, then I will be opening the chat session so that you can put your questions or opinions on it. Thank you. So as Mr. Krishnan was saying, tomorrow we will focus more on machine learning, and we'll also do some hands-on sessions, primarily related to linear regression and decision tree. So two important examples will be covered. And if time permits, we'll try to look at a few more algorithms. Yeah, the session for today is over. If you have completed the feedback link, then you can leave.